Cool. So I've got this bang here, which is quite nice, but I want to put it on the keyboard because I want to pitch it up and down just using the MIDI keyboard. It's a bit quicker than processing it. So I'm going to right click on the region, go to convert, and convert to new sampler track. We can leave this all good. That's regions. Yeah. Oh, this is all good. Just click OK. So below it, it mutes that original sound, puts a new track below it, an EXS-24 instrument with a little MIDI region with the sound on it. If we go in there, we can see the sound, and it plays whenever we play the key. The problem is it's only on that one key, which is C minus 2. I want to spread that sound across the whole keyboard. So to do that, we have to go into the EXS-24 sampler, into the edit button here. By the way, you need to be in advanced mode. So if you're not, make sure preferences, advanced tools, make sure all of those are checked, because otherwise you don't see any edit buttons and things. It hides stuff. So click the edit button, and it tells us there's a sample, and at the moment it's on C minus 2. The key range, the lowest key is C minus 2 and the highest key is C minus 2. So it's not really spread anywhere, it's just on one key. And if we look down here, we can see the little blue blob is where our sound is. And we can press the key and hear it. I want it to go all across the keyboard, so I'm just going to grab the right hand side of that and stretch it across. It looks a bit like a MIDI note. You can just click it and stretch it across the whole keyboard. There we go. Now if I play it up and down the keyboard, well, that's not really what I wanted. It's playing it its original pitch at C minus 2, and then anything above that is going higher in pitch. I'd like to be playing it lower in pitch to make it sound bigger. So I'm going to change its the key of it, C minus 2, which is this one here, where it says key. Instead of C minus 2, I'm going to make it C3, so you can just double click and type C3. C3 is the middle key in the middle of the keyboard. So now it plays back at normal pitch at C3. And if we play it as C2, it plays back an octave below. And because it's on the keyboard, you can play kind of, and it sounds quite nice the more you pitch it right down. In fact, I might play all three together. Suddenly it's becoming quite a big sound. Let's save it, close out of that, and record that as MIDI. So it's getting better, isn't it? Needs reverb though, because this is just dry. So let's get that Space Designer back in. The one that we heard earlier that sounded good in large spaces, outdoor spaces, was Deep Canyon. That was quite impressive sounding, wasn't it? Whoa, suddenly we've got a great explosion. So again, reverb, an explosion in where there's no ambience is really just the sound of a balloon popping. It's just a pop and any debris falling. It's the echo that makes it sound big, so we really need that reverb. Cool. Well, that's probably all we need. It seems a bit odd on its own because it's just one explosion in the middle of a whole battle. But what we can then do is go through and perhaps layer in other explosions. When it's on the keyboard and when it's done as MIDI, it can actually be a bit quicker just to record in explosions. If we find another one.
I suppose you can change the pitch, the distance, and everything as
yeah,
well.
just by playing a MIDI note. Maybe duplicate it. So that's... There's another one there. It's kind of further away though, so perhaps let's... bang. It's just where it goes past that wall there. So we can just record it in. Did it totally in the wrong place. Let's get rid of that bit. And it's MIDI, so we can just go in and notice MIDI notes. When you move them, oh, turn off the reverb for a sec. When you move a MIDI note, the video also moves. So you can line stuff up exactly. So the explosion kind of happens probably there, doesn't it? Just as it's creeping round. There. It's a bit further back in the distance, so maybe we'll EQ it. And as we were talking about the other day, taking top end off puts things further back in the distance. And turning it down, and maybe reverb is a bit shorter. Let's bring that down even a little bit more. So you can see it sort of sends it further back in the distance just by taking top end off.
Is that because bass frequencies travel further in through
Yeah.
top frequencies than high frequencies now?
Yeah. Yeah, you can always hear a festival in the distance just by the thumping kick drum because that travels for miles, whereas you can't hear the vocals or the hi-hats. You have to be right there at the stage to hear those sort of things. Nice. Cool. Well, there's a few things there. I've recorded it. I'll put it straight up. So if you wanted to review it and do any of those, hopefully that gives you some ideas. Record things. Any old household object can become an explosion just by layering it up and playing around with the pitch once it's on the keyboard.